10 things everyone should avoid in life. 1. Toxic relationships. In life, the company you keep shapes your character, your thoughts, and ultimately, your destiny. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But where do these thoughts originate? Often from the people we surround ourselves with. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people drain your energy, belittle your worth, or manipulate your emotions. These are the ones Seneca might call thieves of time. Not because they steal minutes from your day, but because they rob you of your inner peace and clarity. The Stoic path is not about hostility or resentment. It is about discernment. To live well, you must protect your inner citadel, your mind, and your soul from unnecessary turmoil. It is not cruelty to distance yourself from those who harm your spirit. It is wisdom. Instead, seek out relationships that align with virtue. Prioritize those who uplift you, challenge you to grow, and support your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. Epictetus reminds us, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. But remember, this wisdom cuts both ways. Are you someone who drains, belittles, or manipulates others? Or do you strive to uplift, support, and inspire? Be the person you hope to find in others. Life is too short and too precious to be weighed down by toxic relationships. Surround yourself with those who bring you closer to virtue, closer to peace, and closer to the person you were meant to be, for that is how a Stoic lives, with purpose, clarity, and courage. 2. Living without purpose. Imagine a ship at sea without a destination, drifting wherever the wind takes it. It doesn't matter how sturdy the vessel is or how calm the waters, it will never reach a harbor. In the same way, a life without direction leaves us vulnerable to dissatisfaction, confusion, and regret. The Stoics believed that a meaningful life requires purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time, even when hard at work. Effort alone is not enough. It must be aimed at something worthwhile. Finding your purpose doesn't require grand gestures or perfection. It starts with reflection. What ignites your passions? What work or pursuit brings you closer to virtue and makes you better, not only for yourself but for those around you? Once you find it, set your goals clearly. The path will not always be smooth and challenges will arise, but a Stoic does not fear difficulty. As Seneca reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The pursuit itself, with all its trials, becomes meaningful when guided by intention. However, do not confuse speed with progress. Even a small step taken with purpose is better than rushing aimlessly. Your journey is your own, and comparison to others only distracts you from your mission. Focus on what truly matters. So, take control of your course. Define what you stand for, pursue it with courage, and find meaning in every step along the way. For to drift aimlessly is to waste the precious gift of life. But to live with purpose is to truly live. 3. Ignoring health. A life lived without attention to health, both physical and mental, is like a warrior neglecting their armor. Eventually it cracks under the strain of neglect. The Stoics understood that the body and mind are instruments of virtue, and to care for them is not vanity, but wisdom. Epictetus taught, "You may be unconquerable if you enter into no combat in which it is not in your power to conquer. And what greater power do we have than to care for our health? Neglect it, and we weaken our ability to face life's challenges. Prioritize it, and we strengthen our capacity to live with purpose and resilience." Regular exercise is more than a routine. It is training for life itself. When we strengthen our bodies, we prepare for the physical demands of the day and sharpen our discipline. A balanced diet nourishes more than the body. It clears the mind, allowing for better judgment and focus. Sleep restores our energy, granting us clarity to meet the dawn. And self-care is not indulgence, but maintenance for the soul. But remember, health is a balance. Overindulgence in fitness, food, or rest can be as harmful as neglect. As Seneca said, everything in excess is opposed to nature. The goal is harmony, treating your body and mind as the temple of your soul, not out of fear of illness, but as an act of respect for life itself. By prioritizing your health, you honor the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. You give yourself the strength to pursue wisdom, courage, and justice. So, ask yourself, are you caring for the vessel that carries you through this life? If not, the time to begin is now. 4. Procrastination. Procrastination is a thief. It robs us of peace, opportunities, and the satisfaction of a life well lived. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius urged, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Life is fleeting, and to delay is to gamble with time, a resource we can never recover. Putting things off often creates a cycle of stress. The tasks we avoid loom larger in our minds, feeding anxiety and sapping our energy. Yet the solution is simple: take action. Even the smallest step can break the inertia. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Action is liberating. It transforms fear into courage, doubt into clarity. You don't need to see the entire path ahead, just the next step. A single action, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. And with each step, the burden grows lighter and your confidence grows stronger. But remember, the Stoics didn't believe in rushing aimlessly. Action must align with purpose. Reflect on what truly matters, then act decisively. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They rarely exist. As Seneca reminds us, while we wait for life, life passes. So don't let procrastination steal your time or your potential. Take the first step today. Even the smallest act is a victory over hesitation and a step toward living the life you're meant to lead. For in the end, a life of action is a life of meaning. 5. Holding grudges. Resentment is a heavy burden. It clings to your heart, clouding your thoughts and poisoning your peace. The Stoics recognize that holding on to anger or bitterness harms the bearer far more than the object of their resentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Forgiveness, then, is not weakness, it is liberation. To forgive is not to excuse wrongdoing or invite harm. Instead, it is an act of reclaiming your power. When you hold on to resentment, you give others control over your emotions. Forgiveness, however, severs that tie, freeing your mind from the prison of anger. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life will test you with difficult people and painful situations. You cannot control their actions, but you can control your response. Choose forgiveness, not for them, but for your own peace of mind. But forgiveness requires practice and perspective. Ask yourself, does holding on to this anger serve me? Does it bring clarity, virtue, or tranquility? Likely the answer is no. By letting go, you create space for healing and growth, allowing yourself to move forward unburdened. Remember, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It is a declaration that your peace matters more than your pain. The Stoics teach us to rise above our grievances and live with wisdom and grace. For to forgive is not to forget, but to choose freedom over resentment. And that is the path to true strength. 6. Fear of failure. Fear is a powerful force. It whispers doubt, urges caution, and keeps us within the confines of comfort. But the Stoics taught that fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to reflect and then move forward with courage. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality when fear holds you back. It's not the world that limits you, but your perception of it. Trying new things, stepping into the unknown, is where growth happens. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The unknown may seem daunting, but it is only by venturing beyond what is familiar that we discover what we are truly capable of. Growth and discomfort are inseparable. Just as a muscle strengthens through resistance, so does the mind and spirit grow through challenges. Each step outside your comfort zone is a victory over fear and a step closer to the person you're meant to become. But the Stoics didn't advocate recklessness. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Face your fears with intention. Start small if needed, but start. Each attempt, no matter how imperfect, builds resilience and fortitude. So the next time fear whispers to you, acknowledge it, but don't let it stop you. Step forward, however, tentatively. For every time you choose courage over fear, you expand your world and strengthen your soul. And that, as the Stoics believed, is the essence of a life well lived. 7. Excess is a double-edged sword. What begins as pleasure often ends as burden, leaving us unbalanced and unfulfilled. The Stoics understood that true happiness comes not from indulgence, but from moderation. As Seneca wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, whether it's food, alcohol, social media, or material possessions. Excess distracts us from what truly matters. It enslaves us to fleeting desires, robbing us of clarity and control. Marcus Aurelius cautioned, you see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life? If you can manage this, that's all even the gods require of you. Simplicity and balance are the keys to peace. Moderation is not about deprivation. It's about mindfulness. being aware of what serves you and what doesn't. Epictetus reminds us, if one oversteps the bounds of moderation, the greatest pleasures cease to please. The goal is to consume without being consumed, to enjoy without being enslaved. Practicing moderation requires discipline. It means setting boundaries, even when temptation calls. It means choosing quality over quantity and purpose over impulse. These small acts of self-control build strength, resilience, and freedom. So look at your life. Are there areas where excess has crept in? If so, begin to restore balance. Embrace moderation, not as a limitation, but as a path to a richer, more meaningful existence. For as the Stoics knew, a life of balance is a life of virtue, and that is the highest good. 8. Comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a thief, not of possessions, but of joy and contentment. When you measure your life against others, you invite envy and dissatisfaction into your soul. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius advised, don't waste time worrying about what others are doing. Instead, focus on what you can control. Each person walks their own path. To compare your journey with someone else's is to overlook the unique challenges and victories that make your story your own. Envy blinds us to our blessings, leaving us restless and ungrateful. As Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. True peace comes from focusing inward. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Every step forward, every obstacle overcome is a testament to your growth. Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Define success by your own values, not by the standards of others. But this doesn't mean we ignore others entirely. Instead of envying their success, be inspired by it. Let their achievements remind you of what is possible, without diminishing your own worth. The Stoic path is one of self-improvement, not self-comparison. So let go of the urge to measure your life against anyone else's. Focus on your own journey, your own progress. For the only life worth comparing is the one you lived yesterday, and whether today you've grown just a little closer to virtue. 9. Stagnation. Comfort, though alluring, can become a trap. Staying in your comfort zone too long may feel safe, but it also stifles growth and limits potential. The Stoics understood that a meaningful life requires challenge and effort. As Seneca said, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Growth lies just beyond the boundaries of what feels easy. When you embrace new experiences and challenges, you expand your abilities, your perspective, and your resilience. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacles we face are not barriers, they are opportunities to evolve. Learning and growth require courage. It means confronting discomfort and pushing yourself into unfamiliar territory. But as Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Each new experience, no matter how small, is a step toward your greater self. Avoid the temptation to settle for what is familiar. Instead, seek out opportunities to learn and evolve. Whether it's mastering a new skill, meeting new people, or simply challenging an old belief, every act of courage leads to transformation. The Stoic life is one of progress, not perfection. Embrace the discomfort of growth, knowing that it is the forge in which your character is shaped. For in stepping out of your comfort zone, you don't just expand your world, you become the person you were meant to be. 10. Neglecting financial discipline. Money, though necessary, is not an end in itself. It is a tool. Yet, poor management of this tool can lead to stress, instability, and missed opportunities. The Stoics taught the value of discipline and foresight in all aspects of life, including how we handle our resources. Seneca wisely observed, "Wealth is the slave of the wise, the master of fools." Financial stress often stems not from lack, but from imbalance. Impulsive spending and neglect of long-term planning create unnecessary burdens. The Stoic approach is one of moderation and intentionality. As Epictetus advised, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True prosperity is found in simplicity and wisdom. Budgeting is not a restriction, it is a form of freedom. When you budget wisely, you take control of your finances rather than letting them control you. Saving is an act of foresight, ensuring stability for the future. And investing, whether in education, meaningful goals, or opportunities for growth, reflects a commitment to something larger than immediate gratification. But financial wisdom is not just about numbers. It is about aligning your spending with your values. Are you using your resources to build a life of purpose and virtue? Or are you chasing fleeting pleasures? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one This applies to your finances as much as your character, so take charge of your financial habits. Budget with care, save with discipline, and invest with intention. For when money is managed wisely, it becomes a tool not of stress, but of opportunity, a means to live a life of purpose and tranquility. As we reflect on these lessons, remember this: the Stoics didn't aim for perfection, they aimed for progress. Each day is an opportunity to grow, to align our actions with wisdom, and to live with purpose. Whether it's embracing challenges, managing our resources, or letting go of what we cannot control, the path of Stoicism is about balance and clarity. It's about stepping outside our comfort zones, cherishing our journey, and striving to be just a little better than we were yesterday. Take these principles and make them your own. Apply them to your life in small, meaningful ways. Because in the end, the Stoic way isn't just about thinking deeply, it's about living fully. Thank you for watching. Remember, growth starts with action, so begin today.